This is a Thompson Cast. I am Mel Thompson. In recent weeks, there have been attacks that are ethnic in nature in Russia. And this is of great concern because you can't have stability when ethnicity or religion or anything intangible like those two are in the mix. These are the two things that cause wars. They cause poverty. They can even cause famine if people go after other people based upon them. They are things to be proud of and to embrace. However, they are also things that can cause substantial political risk if they are injected into economics or political discussions. They have no place in these areas. They are personal to people, and I believe they should remain personal to people and respected as such. And in Russia, there have been attacks that left about 30 people dead and about 15 wounded, and they're all about religious warfare in an area called Dagestan. The only way to describe this is to just look at the overall background of the people involved, and then you can get some degree of idea of what's going on there. And it's kind of got a twist to it. This is what is being described in some media reports as a civil war among Muslims. And that is something that obviously this happens. It has happened, but it's not something you usually see. You don't usually associate that in this day and age with fighting among Muslims. It's either against Muslims or certain sects of Islam, such as those who preach hate, are using the Muslim religion as a excuse to attack people who are non-Muslims. But you very rarely see Muslim on Muslim violence, at least reported. And this is one of these things that is so volatile because it is inter-religion, inter-ethnic, that I don't think the Russian government really knows how to deal with it. And any type of foreign direct investment in this area right now is subject to large-scale civil unrest. Not only from the combatants, but also from the Russian government if they move in fiercely and try to quell this. That also may create a backlash where if it appears that the Russian government is attacking Muslims, this is going to cause all types of problems. International condemnation, perhaps sanctions, and pretty much make the area a war zone. And any type of foreign direct investment in this particular area, which is the Dagestan area, really at this point is not the best idea you can possibly have. Now, the issues are somewhat sketchy, but I'm going to try to put them in context. A Muslim cleric in Dagestan who had been leading peace talks with some of the militant adherents of Wahhabism, which is a reform sect of Sunni Islam, which is what was widely practiced in Saudi Arabia, was killed. And now you essentially have one sect of Islam that practices Wahhabism. You have another sect that has killed one of the clerics. This has escalated the fighting. And now you have a situation where the Russian government is trying to figure out how to stop this, and I don't think they quite know how to do it. And let me be clear on one thing. Islam is a fine religion. It is one of the greatest religions of all time. There's nothing wrong with being a Muslim. In fact, Islam is a peaceful religion, where people take any religion, whether it's Islam or Christianity or Judaism, and they take the religion and they use that as a pretext for violence, they are not practicing the religion correctly, and they know it. Where you have violence among people of the same ethnic or religious background, they are not doing good by their own people, and they certainly are not following the dictates of their own religion if it is peaceful, which Islam is. That's why this is a very confusing situation. You usually don't see this. You usually see a sect of Islam attacking non-Muslims, and this is the type of thing that gets in the news that creates a backlash against Muslims and makes it appear that Islam is a violent religion, which it is not. Now you have somewhat of the opposite, where you have violence among Muslims in a particular area that, as it escalates, could cause international problems and headaches which the Russians do not want. And their reaction should be watched closely. How they deal with this is going to be a good sign of how they would deal with it in other areas. And we must look at the where this is located, just to get an idea of where the true civil unrest is. In the latter part of the last decade, after the Chechnya War calmed down, Dagestan emerged as a center of political unrest in southern Russia, and the four republics in southern Russia are Muslim. And last month, Dagestan accounted for about 2/3 of the people that were killed in violence in that area. And you have a large swath of land that the Russian government does not want to see fall back into a pattern of violence after what they went through with Chechnya. And what you don't want is to have it have a religious tinge to it, which this does. So the unknown elements are what the Russian government is going to do, how they're going to do it, and how much of an explosion their reaction may cause. And also, if the Russian government steps in some way, what is going to be the ethnic and religious backlash against them? Will this unite the parties against the Central Russian government? Will this cause more problems than we could possibly imagine? It may, because there is such a dramatic unknown here, and a substantial unknown that involves the issues of ethnicity and religion. I would say that there is a substantial political risk of civil unrest in these four areas in southern Russia. They are great areas, great people, beautiful land. They are now being subjected to infighting that is religious based, and this is a very, very distressing thing for many reasons, for moral reasons and for reasons of business that pertain to the fact that you don't know if your investment is going to be safe, whether or not you should get involved from day to day, because if you do get involved, will you be sucked into something that has nothing to do with you? Will you be viewed as being part of the problem as opposed to being part of the solution? Will your involvement add fuel to a fire? Foreign direct investment is a great thing. It helps countries seek it out. However, getting involved in an area where religion or ethnicity are causing civil unrest is a bad idea at all times. And particularly if you add the element of a central government, in this case Russia, coming in trying to quell the violence, this could absolutely escalate into something that is unthinkable and hopefully it will not. This has been the Thompson Cast. I am Mel Thompson.